You're 100% right. Explosiveness is key.
This is stuff that we need to get out there to the athletes. This is amazing.
If there were no results and they were doing the same thing over and over again, then why am I paying for it?
Running to the fridge and lifting a 32-ounce Mountain Dew to your face is not a good training regimen. Let's find out why.
Welcome to the DSPN Softball Central podcast, your comprehensive look into the world of fast-pitch softball.
In softball, we often focus so much on the reps in the dirt, we overlook the engine behind the athlete. Today, we're joined by Coach Brian Shue and Coach Brandy Shue, the high-performance experts behind Team Coach Shue in Temecula. They specialize in turning local standouts into explosive college-ready recruits by bridging the gap between raw talent and elite strength. Welcome to the show, team.
Hi.
We're happy to be here.
So the first thing I wanted to ask you guys is about, from your perspective, what separates average softball players from elite ones physically?
For us, it's really about, like you started with the engine itself. We have so many amazing softball athletes that are amazing at softball, but they haven't really got into building that body and that athletic foundation that just takes that softball to the next level. When they really start working on speed, vertical, power, core, all the things Team Coach Shue does, you really see a difference. They go from being an average or a good softball player to a great softball player.
This episode is sponsored by The Glove Pope. From custom glove builds to expert restoration, pro-level relacing, break-ins, and conditioning. Visit theglovepope.com or at The Glove Pope across all social media platforms. Mention DSPN for a 15% discount. And if you're enjoying this content and want to continue to enjoy it, make sure you like and subscribe.
So, Coach, how did you go from Fort Walton, Florida, then to the Navy, and then to building a specialized performance program in Temecula?
So I started off when I was in high school. I got my black belt a little early, Shotokan style martial arts. It was the only sport I was good at. And my sensei decided I was going to start coaching little kids in that. So that was actually one of my first coaching opportunities. Joined the Navy, went to Navy Corpsman School, went to FMF school, Combat Medic School, Surgical Tech School, then Ophthalmic Tech School, and then started specializing in refractive surgery. Our very first coaching, though, was with our son when he was 5.
Yeah.
We walked into Camp Pendleton Base, and my son wanted to play baseball. He was 5. He walks up to the desk, and we go to sign up, and they tell him, we don't have enough coaches that volunteered. So this young man looks over, and he goes, my dad will coach. He's Coach Shue. And that's when Coach Shue very first started. And I was like, thank you, son. So we started with that. It hit 17 years ago.
Honestly, I think it started mostly when our kids were becoming more like high school, trying to become more of the collegiate type athletes, and we couldn't find anybody to help them out with the running, the weightlifting, stuff like that, just to get them better.
Nobody wanted kids in the
at
gym.
sports. Yeah, nobody wanted kids at the gym.
Female athletes can lift.
Yeah, so we really had a really hard time with them trying to let our daughter lift and everything like that. So I've always lifted weights, even when I was pregnant with the kids. That was just one of the things that I had always done. But as for the coaching, it was definitely Coach Shue. He's always been the best with coaching and working with the athletes and just really understanding the athletes, I think.
And then here we are.
And then Coach Brandy, I heard you're a bit of a, you're going to have to blank this one out, Rob. Badass that you used to
She
handle
is.
the machine gun. Please tell me more. I want to hear about that.
When I joined the military, Coach Shue was getting out and he said, Air Force all the way because he just finished Navy. So we decided to go with the Air Force and I just really wasn't sure what I wanted to do. When I went to go see the recruiter, he was having me go through the jobs and I saw security forces and I was like, oh, this is super cool. I'm going to get a beret and I'm going to get to learn how to shoot a gun. Right. So I was like, yeah, I really want to do that. Well, come to find out, it's probably one of the hardest jobs and it's male dominated. And I really had to learn to be a badass to stay in that career field, And after that, just the confidence came with everything else.
She won't talk about it much, but she was way more than just security forces. She was actually a nuke cop and on a special response team. And I remember bringing her lunch and she'd be in the top of the Humvee behind the turret. That's pretty cool as a husband to bring lunch to your wife and she's up in a turret with a 60 gunner and she could take that gun apart and put it back together as fast as can be.
And that lunch better be right, pal.
I'm going first.
Okay.
I want to thank you both for your service to our great country and definitely appreciate your military service. I'm an Air Force brat. This one keeps telling me I'm just a brat, but yeah, I want to say thank you for your service to this great country and definitely appreciate that. Team Coach Shu, what was the moment you realized there was a real gap in how young athletes were being trained?
For us, it was really when we were looking for something for our own children about 8 years ago when they're getting more competitive, high school, thinking about college sports. There just wasn't really any place that was welcoming to youth athletes. Most kids weren't allowed in gyms. We still were under the impression, the old misconception about it stunts your growth, actually helps with bone density and helps grow. And that female athletes, if they do it, they'll get bulky. So there's no place to take our own daughter. And that was it was hard because she wanted to do the same things her brother was doing. And so that was a big part of us starting our own business also.
Yeah, I love the fact that when I was growing up, my mom wouldn't let me lift weights, and because it stunts your growth, it's not good
Yeah.
for you, and that's all been debunked. So
Debunked 100%.
yeah.
It's the opposite now. It's actually amazing for you. And even athletes or even kids that don't play sports should be doing some kind of strength training.
So what does intentional training mean to you, and how is it different from just putting kids through drills?
Oh, great question. Intentional training for us is we're actually working on our program. We run an 8-week program and it's speed, core, agility, rotational core, explosiveness. It's everything that an athlete needs to be a great athlete. And that's what we specialize. Instead of specializing in training a football player or softball player or any sport like that, we train athletes. So no matter what sport they play, we're going to build that athletic base to where they can dominate at that sport. And we have several different sports from swimming to wrestlers to jujitsu to softball, baseball, soccer. Somehow we ended up being 90% softball right now, which we're very happy for. We love that the softball athletes, they want to come in, they want to lift heavy, they want to sprint hard, they want to jump max effort. So for us, it's intentional training really to get back to it is when we do sprints, we're not doing sprints to make them tired. We don't work on conditioning. We're doing max effort sprints to work on that acceleration, that first step. How fast can you get to first? We don't care about your mile time. That's not part of your sport. All is an explosive speed sport. It's not a conditioning sport. Same thing with our lifts. We do deadlifts and hang cleans, but we use strength training as a tool to make them more explosive and faster instead of like a bodybuilder or a powerlifter or a mom and dad trying to lose weight. For us, it's all about explosiveness and how great can we make that athlete friendly.
I think I noticed too, like with the females, they're so ready. They want to do all of the weight training to get faster, to be stronger. It's almost sometimes to the point where we have to slow them down.
Yes.
Like,
That's how hungry they are.
because obviously they're, athletes who are pushing themselves to that level. So they want to do that at the gym as well. And then when they start to really see the results, because like you were saying, where they're just running around the park or doing
Get that.
ladders and stuff like that, it's just making them tired. It's not really doing anything for their body. But what we do here for them is they're going to build more muscle. They're going to get faster. And just like you were saying, with intentional training comes intentional nutrition,
No.
because we don't want them to keep training and training and training and training.
Food is fuel.
And the food is not coming in because what's it doing? It's just it's gonna hurt their bodies. So we're not even doing what we wanted to do in the first place, which was making them better. So we need, just like I said, the food as well needs to come into play with it too.
And that's where Coach Brandy has been a huge addition. We brought her on as a trainer because we're growing so much. We wanted another set of eyes and we wanted to have bigger sessions and everything. And she got into nutrition and honestly, they take it from Coach Brandy, especially our female athletes, nutrition. I think they listen to her a lot more than me because one, she leads by example, obviously. But two, it's another female telling females it's okay to eat. You want high protein. You want carbs. We don't diet on this team. We food for fuel. We nutrition.
Well, I can tell you right off the bat that my daughter would listen to Brandy way before she would listen to us.
A lot of coaches talk about making athletes faster and stronger, but you use the word explosive. What does that distinction mean in practice?
That's a good one. If the more explosive an athlete is, the faster they're going to get to the play, the faster they can get to the base. So what we do is actually every 8 weeks we test that explosiveness. We not only want the feedback that they're performing better, but we want to see the actual numbers and metrics. So we utilize the jump map. We test their RSI, which is reactive strength index. That lets us know how the higher that number, the more explosive athlete they are. So if we're getting growth in that 8 weeks in that RSI and that vertical and that max effort sprint, then we know they're going to perform better because those numbers go together. But you're 100% right. Explosiveness is key. Same thing when we're doing our strength training, we're moving the bars fast because slow is not what they do in a sport. We want explosiveness even when we're doing hang cleans and deadlifts and
Oh, yeah.
all those things.
Because sometimes they do get caught up in wanting to lift that heavy
Chase that
weight.
number.
Chase that number. They do that a lot. And we try to explain to them that that's not what they're supposed to do. They're athletes, and athletes have to train different than the bodybuilders or the mom and dads or even pro athletes. I mean, pro athletes, they're already there. They just have to keep up with what they have. Where some of these other athletes, when we get them in, we have to teach them how to run, how they're,
Sprint mechanics.
yeah. What were you saying?
Sprint mechanics. 100%.
Yeah, those kind of things. Like just all around, they have to start to get used to their own body and to learn how their body works too. I think a lot of times they want to either be like their friends or they want to be a pro or they want to do what somebody else is doing when they need to understand that your body's going to do something different than your friend's body.
Everybody's different. We always coach the athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love this content. Like
Yeah.
this is stuff that we need to get out there to the athletes. This is
Yes, ma'am.
amazing.
well, you talk about some of the girls just wanting to get the heavier weight, and I believe that's called is that called ego lifting? Is
Ego
that what-
lifting, yeah.
Yes,
It is.
okay,
Yep.
yeah.
And we're all guilty of that.
Yeah.
They want to chase that number, but we always try to, again, we remind them to be like, we use those lifts, deadlifts and hang cleans and squats and lunges to make us more explosive, to make us faster, to make us jump higher. So those numbers aren't necessarily that important. Do we want to go max effort? Do we want to go past failure? Absolutely.
I kind of see it as like I see it as good because when a lot of times when the females first come in, they are afraid of the weight. They're afraid to pick up the weight. They're afraid to lift too much weight, not just because they don't want to look manly, as everybody likes to say, but also because it's heavy and they're scared. They're going to hurt themselves. And to me, when they start to really want to push that weight and put more weight on there and ego lift, sometimes I got to stop them, obviously. But it's telling me that they're becoming more comfortable with the weight. They're becoming more excited to be stronger, to look stronger, those kind of things.
It becomes you versus you.
Yeah. It's really awesome to see not just the females, but also the males, all the athletes to become more confident in what they're doing and who they are, just because they're coming in here and doing their weight training and their speed and all that other stuff makes them more confident out on the field.
What about our female athletes that can hang clean the 45s on each side?
Oh yeah, our female
Wow.
athletes,
I have a hard time with that when I was younger.
Yeah.
they're super strong.
So the hang clean that's hanging from the bar for a certain amount of times.
That would be nice. That one I actually work on. Yep. But yeah, we have several female athletes that they can hang clean the 45 and they can hang clean it for reps and it's a fast bar and it's explosive and that's amazing to me. That's amazing for a young man to have young ladies in 7th and 8th grade doing that is epic.
The hang clean starts from the knees or thighs and builds explosive power and hip extension by catching the bar in a front squat.
How do you approach a new athlete, and what are you looking for in that first assessment?
First and foremost, like we were talking earlier, we always coach the athlete in front of us. So each athlete is an individual. So even when we're in our group sessions, we run a semi-private group session. So we always have 3 coaches for 10 athletes. This way we're not missing anything. And so when that new athlete comes in, and while we're doing an assessment, we actually have them try out a free trial session. We want to see them in action. We have them do the exact same thing that our college athletes and our advanced athletes, our athletes that have been with us for 7 years, but at their level. So if they're doing a deadlift, it's just learning the deadlift. Why we got another athlete next to them that's doing 15 jump deadlifts. But we always assess the athlete in front of us, and what we're looking for is, are they a good fit? And we want to make sure that we're a good fit for them as well. And we always explain to them what we do. We love teaching. I think it's from being medical for so long. It's that see one, do one, teach one. And that just really makes it stick a little more. But I think the assessment, it's the athlete in front of us. We want to get a look at them. And when we do game film, Just like when we were football coaches, game film was awesome. So we still do that. So we'll go home and we'll review the game film and look at the knees and the ankles, how the squat look, how their running mechanics look. And then when they come in, because they always sign with us, our retention rate's good. But if they come back and they decide to join the team, then now we have notes that we use, and that's where we kind of start them off from there.
What are the most common movement problems you see in young athletes, and why do they matter so much? And I know it may depend on sport, so you can pick the sport to kind of analyze and give us feedback on.
I would say across the board for all athletes, they're quad Ferraris, but a moped hamstring. Everybody worries so much about that front that we don't focus on the posterior chain, and your hamstrings and your glutes are a huge part of speed, power, vertical. We have a lot of volleyball athletes too. And with the volleyball and the softball athletes, usually it's knees and ankles. Well, by developing the hamstrings and the glutes more, we do a really robust hamstring and glute program. It'll take away some of that knee pain. What we hear with softball athletes, catchers, for instance, I have bad knees. No, you don't have bad knees. You have weak glutes and hamstrings. And once we build those hamstrings and glutes back up, the knee pain goes away. It's just we want a well-rounded athlete, and that's probably one of the things we run into is every sport uses certain muscle groups more than others, or almost everybody. It's always quad dominant.
Yeah. I think we noticed too, like Coach was saying, that everybody wants to work the quad, nobody wants to work the back. I think sometimes too is with pitchers and basketball players and all those others, they don't want to work the upper part of their body, their shoulders, their chest, because they don't want to be tight. Well, what they don't realize is that you become tight when you're doing a bodybuilder's workout. What we're doing is completely different than what you see at the gym, or what somebody else's dad says you need to do, or this or that.
Back in my day.
Yeah, back in my day kind of thing. We're trying to do everything that we can to make the athlete more, flexible as well. But we know that you can do that with weight training as well. You don't just need bands, or you don't just need the little water bags. I'm not trying to be an asshole or anything. There's just certain things that you get from lifting weights that you don't get from some of this other stuff, I think.
So I would definitely say the knees for most athletes, which is caused
And
by
the shoulders. Yeah.
not enough posterior chain, and the shoulders. We have a ton of pitchers, love our softball pitchers and baseball pitchers. And from experience, they're throwing hundreds of balls, and their arm feels better because it's actually has more mobility. I know that word. It has more shoulder mobility. Plus, instead of it just being tendons and ligaments slinging that softball, now you have this muscle. And that'll take that stress off those tendons and ligaments and rotator cuff. And before you know it, you're throwing some serious heat.
Parents will spend, hundreds of dollars, parents will spend thousands of dollars on the lessons, whether it's batting lesson, fielding lesson, catching lessons, and they'll spend even more money on bats and equipment. What would you say to a parent who doesn't understand why performance training is different?
Again, it's in the word. We're sports performance coaches. Our training is going to help them perform better. And we've noticed, especially in the softball community, that now the parents, they're all in. Once they start seeing some of the results and they're like, okay, that's what I want for my child. We're all referral. We're referral business, and it's one athlete to another athlete to a parent. But again, I think they're actually starting to value what we do, especially in this area. We've seen a big uptick in the last 3 years with softball parents and baseball parents.
They're seeing the results. I think that's probably the biggest thing as a parent, because when my kids did anything, I wanted to see the results. If there were no results and they were doing the same thing over and over again, then why am I paying for it? There's no reason for me to be paying for something that I'm not getting any kind of result from.
This is something that's great to invest in. And if it's not with Team Coach Shu, there's amazing other ones out there also. And just as important as that new bat, just as important as the pitching lessons and the fielding lessons. And we become part of their team.
Right. Yeah, it's not. Well, Billy's dad used to work out at Muscle Beach in the 80s. I'm going to go hang out with him.
And he has a gym in his garage. And I think a big part of adoption as well is now that they're televising more softball games on ESPN. And the great thing about that is the girls are seeing the body makeup of the successful power hitters. And I mean, sometimes there's power hitters that are smaller in stature as well, but because they have that explosiveness and like you're talking about, or that, quick twitch muscle movement, that they are powering these balls out of the field. And so I think now, with being able to see at collegiate athletes, and seeing their body types and seeing the ones that are successful, kind of helps with that as well.
Yeah.
100%. I think there's been a big transition in that. We went to the Neri Mutter recently, and I'm like,
Man.
they are all athletes. They all do strength training. They all do sprint training, and they're pretty good on nutrition.
I think, like what you just said, I thought was really cool because me and Coach Shu were talking about this earlier, that he actually started with 3 female softball
Wow.
athletes.
Yep.
They were going to like a charter school and he was helping them out. And then they really liked training with him. And then as time had gone on, they just kept training with us over and over again. And they were all small. 2 of them were just
They didn't pass the eye test.
yeah, they didn't pass the eye test. They were just too small. One of them, she just had like pure talent. People were like, yeah, she's a little bit smaller, but obviously she's going to be great at what she does. And as time went on, they became more and more powerful. The colleges started to look at them. And now they're all 3 of our freshmen are starting on their college team.
You use Vertimax explosive power training. For listeners who haven't heard of it, break that down. What does it do that traditional training can't?
The Vertimax is an amazing athlete platform. It's for all athletes. Doesn't matter what sport you play. And what it does is it uses bands, and it's resistance bands. You can work vertical, you can work agility, you can work change of direction. We work so many things. We even work on the swing. And what it does is allows us, because we're sports performance coaches, we don't do a lot of sports specific stuff because they have a batting coach, they have a fielding coach. But what we'll do is we'll set them up in the Vertimax and we'll tell them, do an outfielder drill, but you're going to do it with resistance. We just had an athlete in earlier for a one-on-one, and she's playing catcher in high school right now. So we put the band around her with the belt, and we're saying, we want you to shoot each base twice. And so she's working her pop-up from that explosive position with the resistance. This way, when they're out there on the field or the court, it's even easier because they've been working with that resistance training on there. Also, it's really low impact, so it's a good way for us to get some good explosiveness training, but less wear and tear on the knees and the ankles and everything out of these athletes.
So you kind of answered this, but I'm going to ask anyway. What age or sports benefit the most from Vertimax, and are there any athletes it's not right for?
It's perfect for every athlete. We've even used it for some of our swimmers. So no matter what athlete or what sport you're playing, it's excellent. They could be a pitcher or they could be a catcher. It's not necessarily they jump for their sport, but it's horizontal explosive power, which in turn feeds into that being an athlete. And that's what we want. We want them to be so well-rounded in every area that they can dominate their sport and stay a little healthier. We have a 7-year-old that does one-on-one training. He's our youngest, and he's a little baseball phenom. We use it for him. We just adjust it so it fits in.
How do you track progress with your athletes? What does improvement actually look like?
I guess the way that we track progress is like Coach Shu was saying, we do every 8 weeks, we do what we tell the kids PR week, but basically testing. It does their force production. It does their
4-jump vertical average.
So we always do the jump mat, which is what tests all of those, and then we always do their sprints on the curved sprinter.
We test their acceleration,
Yeah.
top speed.
Yeah.
Nice.
So all of that stuff is tested with the equipment that we have here, and then also every week we have them do what's called an in-body. And the way the in-body works is it sends like a small electrode through your body, and it tells us what part of your body is water, muscle, and fat. And that basically helps us because a lot of our athletes are eating the way an athlete should be eating.
They're eating
So-
enough for a regular kid.
Right. For regular kids, we've noticed a lot of times in order for us to get these athletes to listen and to understand that we know what we're talking about, you have to show them. You have to literally show them. And that's what the in-body does. It shows them what part of them is fat, what part of them is muscle. And then every week when they come in, they're accountable for the food that they ate.
And it
They're-
graphs it. So
Yeah, it
no
grasps. So it'll tell them, hey, you had a terrible week. You didn't gain any muscle. you may not have gained any body fat, but you came in here and you kind of you were spinning your wheels because you didn't eat like you were supposed to.
It even monitors their water. And we're
Yeah,
big
it
on that.
does. Well, yeah,
We're,
definitely big on water with these guys. So I think that that holds them accountable.
we're big on that. And we've been able to shift it from instead of them worrying about that overall number, now with the in body, it shows how much muscle mass they gained. It shows their body fat. It shows their water. So now they're looking at the makeup of that overall number instead of, oh, it's 110 on the scale. Yeah, but that 110 is 68 pounds of muscle,
Right.
70 pounds of muscle. And when they see that muscle start going up and they see that body fat start coming down, they don't care about that overall number anymore.
When you're training younger athletes, is that a different approach than when you train an adult, or is it pretty much the same?
Absolutely a different approach, night and day. And that's what's nice about being a specialist. We just specialize in youth athletes. I mean, we do have three super moms that do our sports performance
What you
training
call
at 6 a.m. So they are super moms. They're jumping, they're sprinting, they're deadlifting. Back to just specializing in youth athletes, it's different. And again, each athlete in front of us is different. That's what we really learned over the years too. There's no copy paste with these kids. It just isn't. Some respond well to tough coaching. Some need a little more high fives, maybe a hug every once in a while. Or
Yeah.
and sometimes when a youth athlete comes in, they've had a hard day. You can tell their head is down. They're tired. It was hot outside. Maybe they had an argument with their friend or their parent. And we make sure that those athletes get a little more of kind of what we need that day also. And then you have other ones that come in and they can coach us. So it's definitely different. We sprint every 2 to 5 days. Adults, if you sprint it once a week, you're doing good. But we want to make sure that fast twitch is being hit. So with youth athletes, it's got to be a lot more dialed in as building an athlete instead of just losing.
Have you ever had to tell a parent or athlete something they didn't want to hear? And how did you handle those conversations?
Honestly, from coaching and helping him out, a lot of times I was team parent or AD or anything like that. So dealing with that was a little bit harder than dealing with this. Whereas when they bring them here, I think that the parents are more open-minded to hear what we think that their child needs because we're the experts. They're just more willing to listen here. And even when you do tell them maybe something they don't want to hear, like your kid needs to eat some more, because you're bringing them in, you're getting them to do like the pitching, and they're doing all the practices, and you got everything going on, but you don't understand why they're not getting stronger. Or you don't understand why they're
Because of the
still
food in
slow. It's the food intake, and sometimes parents will take that the wrong way. Like I'm trying to tell them, oh, that they're not feeding their child or they're neglecting their child. When really it's not that. And I think it's kind of the way you approach it with them. They're open to hear it after that. Like at first they're a little like, hey, who are you to tell me what to feed my kid? But then after a while, when you tell them why you think that their kid needs more food and what kind of food they need, and then they kind of start to trust you to know that you know what you're talking about, I think.
When the parents buy in on nutrition, game changer.
Oh, yeah,
That's
for
probably
sure.
the toughest conversation we have with parents is, no, your kid's not eating enough. Or, yeah, they're eating a lot, but it's crap calories.
Yeah.
Not good calories.
We talked a little bit when I was there earlier today about kind of your section of the gym. So what is the atmosphere like, especially in your corner? Is it more rowdy than the rest of the gym, or is it kind of more laid back? What's the energy like in there?
Yeah, I would go with more disciplined and motivated. Disciplined and motivated because we have a training program. When the athlete comes in, they're on whatever day they're supposed to be on. It's not, hey, everybody's doing pull speed and vertical. If they're coming in and they're on a leg day in vertical, that's what they get. So we give them the program, everybody dials it in. We assign the targets and they just they destroy those targets. And then they let us know
Yeah.
what's next, coach. So it's very, I would say, organized. It's kind of a little military.
It's kind of like a fun military, I guess you would have to say, because yes, everybody has to stay on structure, like I tell them. And I always tell the athletes, like, remember, you're in a private training facility. Everybody pays a lot of money to be in here. So no screaming, no playing, no jumping around, stuff like that. But it is also fun because we do have Coach Bella with us most of the time. She is there and she's laughing and joking with the kid, but also at the same time, you're not allowed to be overly crazy and you're not allowed to interrupt anyone else's training. That's the biggest thing. We don't want them interrupting anyone else's training.
On PR week in our strength and power block, you'll hear a lot of yeah buddies out of them and like, let's go
Oh yeah,
Lacey.
they cheer on each other.
Get
a lot.
some hearing them cheer each other on when they're doing a lift or a max effort sprint, chasing their max speed it's awesome. So we get a little loud during those times, and that's acceptable. I guess.
So, what's a transformation story? Not necessarily the most dramatic, but what is one that stuck with you?
Okay, I'll go first. For me, it's the 3 softball athletes that started with us when they were in middle school. I think like 7th grade. They're all 3 freshmen in college, and they're getting a lot of playing time and starting. So we have Tay Holly at Tennessee. She's doing amazing. Already hit some grand slams. We have Kinsey at CBU, who's starting at shortstop and she's amazing. And then Cam Gordon at Oregon State, the Beavers.
Yeah,
She's starting
Beavers.
at shortstop also. And to be able to start at those schools as a freshman is just to be able to start is amazing. But as a
Right.
freshman
They're all the females that I was telling you about that they were smaller,
earlier,
that they
those are the
didn't
3.
eye test. I mean, and like I said, they all start now.
I wouldn't say they were projects, but they were our very first softball athletes, and they helped me grow as a coach. Those 3 will stick with me for life because they made me believe in myself, because a little imposter syndrome at the beginning, but they'd be in, now they'd be in groups, and all of a sudden those 3 would be in my training group. And I'm like, you're assigned to group B today. How did you get in group A? So they would take their stuff out of groups and come train with us. And they bought all in. Those 3,
Yeah.
Tay, Kinsey, and
Yeah.
Cam, are special.
I think I would have to say, I was thinking about one of our softball girls, but I really, we had a volleyball female who was probably our very first female. Her name was Aubrey. And from what I understand, she didn't even start on her volleyball team. And she came to Coach Shu and she started working with him and getting stronger. And her brothers worked with us and everything. When she was working with Coach Shu, she was starting, she was getting better, she was being looked at by colleges. But she just still wasn't looking as athletic as they wanted her to for obviously the eye test, like they always say, because the volleyball players the same thing. They wanted to
get
be
outside.
tall and thin and be able to move. And she just kept telling me, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And I kept telling her, what's going on with your nutrition?
Back to that.
And back to the nutrition. And she was like, well, I'm not doing very well. And I said, give me 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I promise you, after 2 weeks, you're going to feel different. You're going to look different. You're not even going to want any of that junk that you had. And sure enough, she did it. And now even when she comes home, she's in her 3rd year.
3rd year at college.
3rd year of
Doing
college.
amazing.
Every year she played volleyball. She started. And she came back home and she was training with us because she was home for a little bit. And we had another female come in. We were asking them again, what did you eat today? And the younger female said, oh, I had a chicken salad. And our volleyball player said, girl, that's all you had all day? She's like, let me tell you what I had. And she went through
Aubrey got on her.
breakfast, her water. She's like, how do you expect to
And
perform
that's our
without any of
culture.
that stuff? And it was like watching me in her, you know what I mean? And that's our culture to try to encourage each other to do better,
Yeah.
So I think she's probably my biggest, memory and transformation, because she's not only transferred to being great at her sport, but she also transferred to being a great person to encourage the
human.
other athletes
Great
to do better too. I want them to see the difference between, and you might have to cut this out, training and actual something that's going to work and show the results. That's my biggest thing. Even if they don't come back to us or they decide to do something on their own, that they know what's actually going to work for their body. That's my biggest thing, because they're going to get older and they're going to move on. And I want them to be able to hold on to some of that stuff that we gave them.
To have that knowledge base.
Yeah.
When they become adults and they go on and, they're adulting in life after sports and everything else like that they understand that sports performance training turns into performance training as an adult. This way you can perform better as an adult. Live healthy, feel great.
I'm still waiting to go adulting. I'm still not an adult.
I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress right now.
Right.
If a parent or young athlete is listening right now and wondering if this is right for them, what would you tell them to do?
Come see us. Come check out our free trial session. We're Team Coach Shu. We specialize in youth athletes, sports performance coaches, and we're different. But we want you to see that difference in person.
We'll be right back with the 7th inning walk-off. Welcome back, everybody, to the 7th inning walk-off. This is a game of trivia and opinion that we play with our guests. Team Coach Shu will be answering these questions the best that they can. And I just want to let you know, this isn't like Planet Fitness type trivia, okay? This is hardcore fitness trivia. Okay, all right. This is for Coach Shu, for Brian. What is the nickname of your high school?
Choctaw Indians.
That's right. That is correct. What year was that school established?
Ooh, can I call a friend? I don't know. I know what year I graduated, 94. That's it.
Do you want to just take a stab at it?
Let's go.
1913.
Oh, whoa, that hurts my soul. Let's go 1980.
1952.
1952. I was the ham
close.
sandwich. I wasn't even close.
Sticking with your high school, Choctaw offers a dual enrollment aviation program. What is the university they partner with, which is my alma mater?
I'm going to go, I'm
Maybe.
going to say Florida State. No, I actually should have studied my own high school a little more.
No worries. Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University,
Embry.
which is my alma mater. And so then
Nice.
And then, do you by chance know what Embry-Riddle's mascot is?
Gosh.
Aviation.
Is it an airplane?
The Embry-Riddle mascot is Eagles. The Eagles.
Oh,
my
yeah.
gosh.
Okay. This is just an opinion question, so there's no points available here. So deep breath, kind of like that 90 seconds in between sets. Okay. What is the most underrated training habit?
I have mine. Can we both have an answer or just
Yes,
one?
Yes.
absolutely.
I would say that the break in between sets. Everybody's all about if you're not dying, you're not trying, or you're actually not growing if you're not taking your rest in between. And 90 seconds to 2 minutes, that's so underrated right now. Because of course we feel like we're being lazy for that 90 minutes to 2 minutes, or that 90 seconds to 2 full minutes, but you're not being lazy. You're just letting that central nervous system reload and let that muscle fatigue go away.
Hey, if we're taking 90 minutes, I'm in. I could lift
I
all
know,
day.
right? I was like 90 minutes. I'm like, not quite for us.
Are you good with that answer, Brandy?
I would probably say just the temperature at when you actually train. You know, people think that they're supposed to be in a hot, sweaty environment. I mean, we're not, like Coach Shea always says, we're not Navy SEALs.
We're not training.
We're not training to, go and take over another country. So just training in a good environment where you're not feeling like you're overly sweating or you're freezing to death. I think that's probably the biggest thing that people don't understand.
Training environment.
Yeah, training environment.
This one is for points, and there's a possibility of 2 RBIs. What is the name of the test that involves a high intensity sprint with multiple 180-degree turns to measure sharpness in direction change?
5x10.
I have never heard of this
I-
before.
I don't know.
Oh.
I've seen it. I think I've seen it. I know which
Educate
one you're
people.
talking
Really
about. I
learn.
don't know the name of it though.
It's 93639.
Researching that one now.
No, yeah.
If it's going to help our athletes, we'll coach it.
I love it. And how much distance is covered in the 505 agility test?
Wow, the 505. I feel like we were underprepared for these questions.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we
In
don't-
the
we don't
agility
do those.
test, huh?
Yeah.
5 meters for that one.
5 meters.
We probably
Yeah.
should have guessed that.
No, we should have guessed.
So
5 meters.
sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I had to dig deep for some of these.
Learning new things.
Here's my favorite question of the whole trivia game. You ready? True or false? You guys got married on my birthday.
It's a lot of years ago, 27.
I'm gonna go with true.
I'm going to go with true also.
That's an excellent answer. Yes, March 19th. And you guys married March 19th, 1999. Nice job.
All right. This is another opinion one. Most important meal of the day.
If we had to nail it down, it'd be breakfast. Again, back to, we've said it several times. food
Yeah,
is
get
fuel.
them started.
And so you want to get some fuel in you before you go to school. This way your brain's working a little better. Get those carbs in, get that protein in. You'll be a little better on those tests. You'll be more awake and more kind of aware of the stuff
Yeah.
you need to learn.
Right.
Gas in the car.
All right. Inning number 7. Number 7. Here we go. Who founded Vertimax.
Oh,
God, I feel like I'm stalking Vertimax as much as we use it, and I have absolutely no idea.
I have no idea.
Was his last name Vertimax?
It was not.
Oh,
It was Michael Wehrell. Wehrell.
okay.
Michael W.
We
So
did not know that, but we love the platform, Vertimax.
and then the next question is, where did he go to college? And you
Oh.
actually already mentioned this
Yes,
school.
you did.
I would say Florida State then.
The other Florida.
The Gators.
Yes, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, I'm obviously a Florida State fan, so it's hard for me to even
Us
say the
too.
Gators.
Us
Yeah,
too.
yeah. They have a great
Yeah.
softball program.
Yes, they do. Their strength program, we follow it. Amazing.
Really? You can
Oh,
follow
they
it?
are they
Huh.
yep. They are picking up and putting down.
Nice.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and the last question in this question is, what year did Vertimax start?
Gosh, it has been around for quite a while. I want to go 1980-ish.
Mm,
1988. Nice job.
nice.
Very good. Very good. Again, we just want to thank you guys. I know it's a Saturday when we're recording this, and when I saw you earlier this morning, you had sessions going on, and you're taking time out of your busy day to do this. This is vital information for all players, parents, coaches, and fans to know about. Just great information. Obviously, we talked about how important the nutrition is. Can't state that enough. But
Yeah.
but the explosive power that you're teaching these athletes and having them develop, I think is profound. I think it's
Love
something
it.
that everybody needs to look at if you're a performance athlete. Like, for us, the softball nerds,
Softball
getting
rules.
getting from home plate to first base faster than anybody else is going to win you a lot of games.
Oh, yeah.
100%. 100%.
So again, we really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for
And
having us.
And Team Coach Shu, if someone is wanting to find more information about your program, pricing, please give us a plug and tell everyone where they can find out more information.
I'm pretty sure we're on almost every social media platform, and if we're not on one, let us know. We'll get on it. Instagram is, what do you call our Instagram?
Team Coach Shu?
Yeah, Team Coach Shu on IG. But what's that? You said, what's your name? It's our portfolio. You mentioned to me. That's the best place to look. We do all our game film on there, and on there's our contact info. You can contact us by cell phone or send us a DM.
The link to everything will also be in the show notes.
Thanks again, you guys.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Remember, everybody, you can find us online at www.dspn.online. You can also find us on Facebook, YouTube, and on Instagram at DSPN Plus. Please like, subscribe, and follow.
You can find this episode and all of our episodes wherever you find your podcasts.
If you're a fan of the show, please go to patreon.com/Softball Central to help support the show. All the information is there.
Thanks again to the Glove Pope for the support and sponsorship of this podcast. Visit theglovepope.com or find them on all social media platforms by searching at The Glove Pope. Don't forget to mention DSPN for your 15% discount.
I'm Rob D.
I'm Samara. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the DSPN Softball Central podcast.
Until next time, put that ball in play. You never know what's going to happen. Ciao.